Thank you so much. This is Divine Exquisite. We developed a receipting module which we called DEX ERP. And when we developed it with a lot of things to be addressed in mind, the first thing being the multi-currency, whereby customers were being created based on the currency which they use, meaning if a customer or the area in which the council is operating is using about three currencies like the base currency, the USD and the Rand, you would find that the same customer will be created 3 times. And that will be very difficult to consolidate the account at the end of any reporting period, because you have to convert the transactions so that they can be reported in the base currency or in USD, which was a mammoth task. So this module addressed that issue, that you are going to use one customer instead of you splitting the customer. Then also it addressed the issue of linked accounts, whereby you have to create a sub customer for each sub program or for each service that customer receives. Now you have to link all of them into one account which you are going to use, and that one account is going to post those transactions to respective sub-program accounts. So I'm going to open the DXCRP system. Right, this one is a standalone outside Sage, but what does it do? The moment the receipt displays, automatically it posts in Sage Evolution. So the user puts the password, login password. So the first screen that comes here is for the exchange rates. Right, assuming that the exchange rate has not been received yet, you can just say close and you proceed. What does it mean? It means you are using the previous used exchange rate, but when you now have the exchange rate for the day, you can now go to set up exchange rate and then put the exchange rate for the day. For the sake of demonstration, this database have got 4 currencies. That is the home currency, the US dollar, the pula, and the rand. So I'm going to put the exchange rate for this date based on home currency versus USD, assuming it's 4,500, the buy and sell. Now there's the parallel market, the interbank, and the mid rate. I understand the interbank, you add 10% to it, and then the buy and sell rate is the one which the system is going to use when you've logged in. Then you save. Then you also want to say what about home currency against the rand, assuming maybe it's 2,100. It should be assuming it's 200, you save. And want to know what is the rand against the USD, maybe it's 18, you save, then you close. Right, on the login, it asks you your till. What you've done on the tills, we have created the user as the tills. It doesn't matter either use the till 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. What we are interested in is what you are supposed to cash up at the end of the day. So if you have any float when you are logging in, you can put the amount that I have a float of this amount. If there is nothing, you just say continue. Right, by default on setup programs, by default when you install the system, it is going to put these programs P1 to P6 as they are, and I'm sure you are familiar with them. And then it also puts the sub programs linked to the programs. The 18 sub program, P1 is P1 and P6 is P1, that is the natural resources. But if you haven't switched to PBB and national chart, on the program list you are going to put your committees, you are going to put your funds, and you link them to the programs. then by default as well, it reads the taxes which are in the system, because we want to use the cash basis as opposed to the accrual basis. So it reads the taxes in the system, and then you tick the one that you want to use for the receipting purposes, that is on accrual basis, debiting the VAT provision and crediting the VAT due. So you have to tell the system, this is the tax type that I want to use when I am receipting. Right now on the exchange rate, that is, if when you logged in the first time without logging in the exchange rate, now you can come and add the exchange rate. For this instance, this one I've already put them, so I'm not able to put now again because I've already put the exchange rate. Right, on the services, this is where the bigger matrix is. The idea is a tender type is not the one which determines where the system is supposed to post the transactions. As you can see, I want to edit the first one. I've put the service code, service description, and I've linked it to the sub-program in which it belongs. So what it means is I have to select the receivable control, the receipts control, the tax provision, and the VAT control, all belonging to the same sub-program, so that we avoid cross-cutting of transactions from one program into another sub-program. So when we do a receipt, each sub-program must balance itself as it is. And on taxable here, we are saying, is this service taxable or not? If it's taxable, you tick on taxable. Right, you choose the GL receipts control account. The idea is we haven't reached on the banking scenario now. We first want to receive the money to the program in which the service has been rendered. That sub-program should first acknowledge receiving that payment. Then thereafter, we can now bank from that sub-program to the actual bank which received the actual money through the interbank or the interfunds transfer, so that each and every sub-program will remain balancing. I've chosen the receipts control, the accounts receivable, the tax provision, obvious, which is going to be debited, and the tax due, which is the VAT. Now, if the service is a billable, you don't tick on non-billable. But if it's a billable, non-billable service, you click here and then you choose the revenue GL code. What does it mean? It generates an invoice and then it receipts. So we must make it know where the GL revenue line is going to receive the payment for that service. So if it's a non-billable, you tick and then you choose the respective GL, assuming this one has, right, this one, that is licenses. I've chosen for this instance to be a non-billable. Then I put the revenue GL code. Then when I do a receipt, it generates an invoice. It credits the revenue of that GL account. So this is where the bigger matrix is. It knows where to post, where to direct the transactions. Now then we have got some tariffs. You find that a service have more than one tariff, like development levy, there's for dams, there's for residential, there's commercial, there's industrial. You can break it into farms A1, A2. So we link them to the service. Right, so that when you select a service, when you get to the tariff, it will filter the tariffs which are specifically for that service. The idea is one to further break and segment the collection efficiency at tariff level, at service level, at sub-program, at program level, and any other analysis that you might want to use to analyze the data. Then in main account,